Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. A little while ago, I received a comment from a viewer. She asked if I would give you some more ideas for ways you could use vellum. I thought to myself, well, that's a great idea, and I really should look into that. I have used vellum a bit in my scrapbooking endeavors, but I don't feel like I've used it to its full potential because I really wasn't sure how to use it, much like this viewer. And so I thought to myself, I need to look at some better examples of how other people have used vellum so that I can get some better ideas. So I started looking in places where we all look for ideas for many, many things, and I was really surprised at the number of examples that I saw for using clear vellum or using vellum in a way that is not consistent with how Creative Memories generally suggests that we scrapbook. And most of the examples that I saw were using vellum with cards, not in a scrapbook situation. So I don't know if maybe I was not looking in the right place, or maybe I didn't put in the right keywords to search for, but I did not find any examples really out there of using vellum in a scrapbook, on a scrapbook layout. And I didn't find any using colored vellum. Most of the examples I saw were clear or white. And so I thought to myself, well, surely there must be something, but really, everywhere I turned, every place I looked, I could not find anything. So I thought, well, I'm not the only one, obviously, who is disappointed in the examples that are out there. So surely I could come up with some good examples for you. And so I thought that today I would focus on providing you with some ideas and examples, and I intend to revisit this in the future so that we can continue providing people with some ideas and examples of how to use the vellum that they may have in their stash. I'm hoping that today I can provide you with some ideas and some skills and some things to think about as you look at different sketches and consider whether to or not to use vellum in your sketches. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started, and I'm going to actually show you a layout that I'm going to put together for you today. I'm going to show you some samples from my own albums, just a couple, because like I said, I haven't really used it as much as I maybe would like to in the future. Yeah, let's check out my workspace and we'll work through some stuff. Be sure you take a look at the description of this video because there will be more information provided there of different resources that you can take a look at also. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today. And as I already mentioned, we are talking about some different ideas for you to use vellum with. And I apologize that this video may actually be a little longer than my normal 101.5s because I'm actually going to assemble a layout for you and give you just a really quick option. And then I think I may revisit this in the future and share with you some other ideas for layouts using vellum just to kind of keep this ball rolling. But I wanted to show you a couple I've already used in my albums. So this is, you'll recognize this as being one of the Hawaii albums that I put together last year and the year before. And so you may remember this layout. This is I believe this was the project recipe for using with Serene Waters. And Serene Waters came out with vellum And so you can see the vellum pieces that are used here to kind of represent waves. And so that's a really cool one. If you have access to the project recipe for Serene Waters, this is a really fun one to put together. You can see it's used here behind the circle. And it's used here in the waves. And I don't think it's used anywhere else, at least not on my layout. Oh, it is used behind this circle up here as well. So those are a couple of ideas there. And you can always look up this video on my channel if you haven't seen it already, or you would like a refresher on how to put this one together. That one is a fun one, definitely. This is one I did years ago. In fact, this is one of the first few albums that I ever made. And it is from our tour over in Europe when my husband was in the Army. And the last page is what I wanted to point out to you. I used vellum on the last page, and it's just a white piece of vellum that I was able to use my printer and my computer to print. And so I think this was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And I used a decorative blade to make the edges look kind of torn. So the edges, it's hard to see because it is a white piece of vellum, but the edges do look a little bit jagged, and they are, that's because I was using a decorative blade with an older trimmer that we don't have anymore. And I'm not sure I even have it anymore. But and you can see the adhesive on this because we didn't have vellum adhesive back then, and so unfortunately there isn't any way to conceal the adhesive, or there wasn't at the time. So that's unfortunate for me. But I typed a letter in my computer to just sort of summarize our experiences in Europe, because we spent 3.5 years living over there. And I printed it on 2 different pieces of paper, and then I spliced them together. Here's the edge right here, so that it would be one continual page of kind of a letter about our experience. We were there living in Europe over 9/11. When 9/11 happened, we lived in Italy at the time. So there was a lot that I just wanted to make sure got expressed there. So that's another option. We have lots of different options for vellum, or we have had through the years. And I keep them in a Power Project folder just so that they are kind of together. This is a really old sheet. I can't even tell you which one this one came from. This is Old Company. As you can see, it's not a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and so doesn't match. But we have Autumn Cottage. This is current and out right now, and these are beautiful, beautiful papers. We have Something Blue, which came out a 1.5 years ago, roughly. No, yeah, a 1.5 years ago or so. No, it came out earlier this year. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Cue the Blue. Anyway, okay, so Something Blue came out earlier in 2024. We have Serene Waters that came out in 2022. These are beautiful for anything that you need water related. Here's another pack of those. And then we have Cue the Blue, which came out in 2023. Really, you can use vellum with any kind of a layout where you are going to be layering things over top of something. Let me show you a sample that I created. This is using Autumn Cottage. This is the Vintage Chic, it goes this way. The Vintage Chic Project Recipe using Autumn Cottage, and I used the green vellum to create the border across the bottom and on the outside of the top edge, and then these mats are also made with the vellum. So you can see how pretty it is to be able to kind of see through the different textures that are underneath it. Just as a quick sample, I thought I would share. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this piece of vellum, which I have literally saved this piece to use until now because I just thought it was so pretty and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, but I just knew it had to be something special. So this piece is going to be one of the ones I'm going to focus on using today. And I'm going to use some sheets from Full of Wonder. So these are a couple of the sheets we're going to use from Full of Wonder. And we're going to put together what I think was the project recipe for Cue the Blue. And, oh, I'm going to need some cardstock too. All right. I don't have any white, but I have Stardust white. So we're going to use Stardust white for today. I gave away my last pack of white paper. Didn't give it away. I sold it to a customer of mine who needed some. So I need to get some more. But in this pinch, I'm just going to go ahead and use this Stardust white. And Stardust white has some little flecks of different colors in it, but I think it'll be just fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is, these are going to be our base pages, so I'm just going to set them up there for right now. I'm going to cut, I need 5 pieces that are 2 inches. Is that right? 2 inches? Yeah, I need 5 pieces that are 2 inches wide. So I'm going to stack my paper and go ahead and cut So essentially we need 10 2-inch pieces. So we've got 2, 4, and 6. We need 4 more, but I'm going to cut 6, and here's why. Because I want my sides to kind of reasonably match. They're not going to match exactly, but I want them to reasonably match. So there is going to be an odd man out here somewhere along the line. All right, so I cut those 2 pieces into 2-inch strips. Then I'm going to take this piece and this is the vellum piece. This piece is going to be, I'm going to do this 2.5 inches wide. Okay, so 2.5 inches. You know what? I'm going to do another one that's 2.5 inches wide, and I think I'm going to incorporate it. It wasn't in the initial design, but I think it's going to be lovely. Okay, so that leaves us with that piece, which I'm going to set over there. These 2 pieces are going to be over here. We'll get to them in a minute. Okay, so we're going to set my trimmer to the side. First thing we're going to do is we're going to determine the order that we want these in. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. We're going to go with that. We can go here and another one, and then maybe that, and then let's see. Actually, we may need to have this one kind of go so I'm trying to kind of balance the color a little bit, and that can be tricky sometimes to try to balance the color. If we did like that. Maybe like that. And then these two will be our extra sheets. Okay, so we'll set those to the side. These are going to be our base. This is going to go on the base. Okay, so these on this side, I'm going to go ahead and cut some flags into. So to do that, you can take your scissors, you can put your two corners together, don't crease it, just put the two corners together, and then you start cutting at the corner there, and you cut in about 1/2 inch, and then you have a really cute little flag. So you can do them that way. If you have the flag punch, you can use your flag punch, because a 2-inch piece of paper is perfect for using with your flag punch. I'm going to go ahead and just cut these into these papers so that I can keep the notches reasonably the same. If you're going to use your flag punch, use your flag punch for all of them. Just be consistent so that they all are similar. Okay, so there's another one. We're going to do one more in this. All right. Now these flags, these pieces, need to be different lengths. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the trimmer back over, and we're going to just cut a little bit off. So this one's going to be 1.5 inches we're cutting off. This one's going to be 1 inch. This one's going to be 7/8 of an inch, because I don't want to lose all the beautiful colors in that. This one's going to be 1.25 inches. This one's going to be 3/4 of an inch. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and adhere these papers. Now, none of these are vellum, so we don't need to worry about vellum adhesive, but we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So just hold your horses. All right, so this one is going to have those pieces. This one is going to have these pieces. I'm going to do the left-hand side first. I'm going to use my permanent adhesive. We're going to put this about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do the one on this end. And again, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge is where you're going to start. Then we're going to come and do the one right in the middle. Okay, and if you're not sure where the middle is, let's go ahead and we're going to line up the base page on the grid on my mat, and then that way we can see. So I'm lining it up at the 6-inch mark, so the 12-inch mark is my middle, and I can line my paper, my strip, up using the grid marks at the 1-inch mark on either side of the 12. And I can make sure it's straight by looking over there. then this one's going to go straight through. Yeah, just making sure I have the right edge. So I'm just centering it. And then going straight through. Same thing here, just centering it between the two strips and going straight through. All right, so there's one page. Then this page is going to match up to that one. So that's going to make things a lot easier in a lot of ways, because we don't have to stress about where these strips go. They just match right up. Like that. Okay, so we can just go from top to bottom or from bottom to top, and I am going from bottom to top because that's just the way it's working. And these are going to be a little bit longer or shorter than each other, and that's fine because that's the way we cut them. That's the way this layout is designed. All right, last one for right now. Okay, now we're going to take our vellum, and if you are not familiar with it, let me just introduce you to Creative Memories Vellum Adhesive. Vellum Adhesive is specially designed so that when you use Vellum Adhesive with vellum, it is less likely to be seen on your layout. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of things, a couple of special things with this. We are going to notice that there's a right and a wrong side to our vellum. So I don't know if you can see that as easily as I can in person, but this would be the right side up, and this is not the right side. This is the back. And you can tell because it's just slightly duller. The color is just a little bit dull. All right, so I want to make sure I'm putting this side down. A trick you can use with vellum is to make sure that where you place the vellum adhesive is behind a darker portion of the print. So when I put my adhesive on, you can see I'm adding it to areas that have a little bit of a darker bit of the print. Okay, now that being said, we obviously need to add our adhesive at the corners, so I need some up here on this end. And my adhesive, I'm being kind of gentle with it because I've actually broken a little tiny piece in there, so my my adhesive does not want to come out as easily as it should. But so this one up here, these on this end, they're actually gonna potentially be more visible because they're on the more opaque part with less color. Okay, but I'll show you how we can manage that. Okay, so we don't want to see the adhesive. You can see it right now through there. You can see it in a couple of different places. We're going to place this on the layout about a 1/2 inch from the left-hand side. It's going to go all the way up to the top. And right now I'm just going to push it down just like I would any other piece. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my multi-purpose tool and I'm going to come back in here, and this is called burnishing, when you apply a little bit of extra pressure and you burnish in the adhesive. Okay, so you can't really see the adhesive that I have applied on this end of the vellum because it's behind these darker areas, so it's hiding. And whenever possible, like I said before, whenever possible you want to make it hide. That one was sticking out just a little bit. Did you see how it disappeared when I burnished it in? And so normally I would kind of know where I've put my adhesive and I would just need to rub those areas, burnish in those areas that I know have adhesive behind them. I don't really remember where I put the adhesive because when you flip it over it looks totally different, right? So it's harder to know where you need to make sure that you're rubbing in. But the cool part is that when you use the CM Vellum adhesive, you can't see the vellum, or you can't see the adhesive through the vellum, but you can see the beautiful papers. Do you see how pretty that is? Just sort of reflecting underneath that pretty paper. Now we could do some more. We could do more of this all the way across the page. We could do, you know, another one on this side and another one on this side. I think that would actually be really pretty to do. To add this one here and then add another one or two on this side. So let's go ahead and I'm going to grab my trimmer and we'll cut 2 more pieces and we'll go ahead and put these in. So 2.5 inches. Another thing I've learned about vellum is that the edge, wherever you cut it, kind of leaves a mark. Have you noticed that? If you've worked with vellum at all, I bet you've noticed that, especially if the vellum is not opaque like this. Typically, you'll have kind of a white looking edge wherever you have cut the vellum, which is interesting to me that it would be that would be an effect of it. But so I'm going to go ahead and add this add the adhesive and burnish this in and add these papers. Then we'll add some embellishments and then we'll talk about some other options for using your vellum papers. All right, so then with this particular layout, there's not a lot of embellishing that we need to do because of all of the movement that we've got going on here, but I am going to just add a couple of little butterflies to this, and then add this in kind of just right here. Follow your heart, which seems like a beautiful sentiment for a beautiful page like this. Okay, so remember what I was saying, that pretty much anything that layers over the top of another thing, you can use vellum with, and it will turn out beautifully. If you have, if you recently made a purchase from Creative Memories and you received the new Scrapbooking Project Recipes book to commemorate the CM birthday that happens in October, this is a wonderful book with tons of ideas, 104 pages of ideas to give you, and the instructions for them. And so what I've done is I've gone through and labeled several of the pages in this book that will give you layouts that will work with vellum. And the idea is that the piece that you want to use your vellum for is the piece that's being layered on top. Oftentimes it's a punch piece or just a layered piece, but you can use vellum for anything that's going to be layered on top of something else. It's something that the paper that's underneath it has some texture to it, so you can notice it through the vellum that you're placing on top. That's the key. I will add my recommendations for the project recipes that are in this book that are best for using with vellum. I'll add that in the description of my video. And then if you try one, I would love it if you would let me know. Maybe take a picture, email it to me so I can see what you've done. It's exciting and super fun, and I would love to get your ideas. I would also love to get your ideas, if you have any, for layouts that I should use for Christmas. I am right now collecting my 12 days of Christmas layouts that I'll be doing throughout the month of December. So if you have something you'd like to see me put together and you want to send it to me, I would love that. There's an email located in the description of this video. Just go ahead and attach an email, or attach it in an email to me, and I would love to see that. And that being said, if you ever have any suggestions or ideas or questions or something you'd like me to teach you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can put a comment on a video, you can email me, just let me know, and I'll be happy to respond as quickly as I'm able to. This one took me a little while to gather all of my materials and ideas to be able to help you efficiently, and so it took a little bit of time to get back to the viewer who requested more ideas for vellum. But honestly, I was kind of disappointed that I couldn't find more ideas to inspire me out there. So I'm hoping that these ideas will inspire you. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Make it a great day.